And we should be live.
Hi.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to Bookish Chaz. This is not just about me today. I am joined by two beautiful friends of mine, Danielle from BookChara and Ashley from Read Now, Sleep Later. And we are also joined by Brandy, although she's just going to be in the comments. She wasn't able to join us for the stream itself, but we're so glad to have her as well. We all did a buddy read for The Bear and the Nightingale, first book in the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. And yes, so excited. I would hold up my copy, but it's digital and I don't have it here with me. So
there you go.
Yeah, right. We'll just, here it is. So just wanted to welcome you all here. Thanks for joining us. If you're in the chat, looking forward to a great discussion today. And Kim, if she's joining us, I haven't. Oh, there's Kim! Yay! Expedition Through Pages has joined us in the chat, and so yeah, we're going to have a great discussion today. As always, make sure that you are subscribing to my friends here. Check out their channels, and I'll give them a chance to tell you a little bit about them. So you want to start, Danielle?
Sure. I'm Danielle. My channel name, Twitter, Instagram, you can find me at BookChara. BookChara is book joy. That's the Chara is joy in Greek. As far as like what I read a little bit of everything. My favorites are sci-fi, fantasy, and middle grade. And I play a really fun TBR game once a month called Getting Away with Murder, which is a Clue-inspired TBR game. And I just implemented some really, really fun changes to my game. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Ashley from Read Now, Sleep Later. I typically read more than I sleep. But I read a little bit of everything. Here lately, I've been getting into more of the horror genre. I've always been a big horror fan, but I'm also really into just literary fiction in general. I just like everything.
Very cool. So glad to have both of you. And yeah, Kim put up, I always wanted to know what you meant by Chara, and I should have known that. I took Greek in college, but I've always kind of wondered, it slipped me. So thanks for clarifying that, Danielle. That's cool.
Yep.
Boat joy. That's awesome. Well, of course, if you're here for this and you come to my channel regularly, you know me. I'm Chaz. I talk mostly fantasy books, some sci-fi, some mystery as well, and I do other fun stuff like tags and why you should read videos, book reviews, all that good stuff. So, yeah. So this should be fun. Keep in mind, this is a spoiler chat. So if you have not read the book and you don't like spoilers, you may want to find the nearest train out and come back to watch it after you read the book. But if you're okay, then here we go. So overall impressions, what did you ladies think?
Sorry, you cut out on me a little bit. What'd you say, Chaz?
Oh, I'm sorry. Overall impressions. What did you think of the book?
I loved it. I loved the wintry feel of the book. Yeah, I think that was my favorite part, was the atmosphere.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Ashley? I have to agree. Yeah, it was definitely, I mean, I knew the first time that I had, like, however many years back I put this on my TBR, I knew that it was very much like Russian folklore inspired and very like wintry inspired, but I tried to keep myself like a little bit of a surprise on what it was. So when I was reading this, especially in December, getting cold, I was like, I'm inside, but I'm freezing. Like, just by reading this, especially, just, it was just so good. It was a perfect atmosphere, perfect book for this time of year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I'm going to put this comment up from Brandy here real quick. Brandy says she reads everything except not much sci-fi. And I did not realize that you are Steve's wife. Well, now I know. Always talks about you. I didn't put two together. So we're very glad to have you here. So yeah. Oh, and she doesn't have a channel, but that's okay.
She shows up on his channel sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I need to watch more from him. I had a hard time getting into this one. I felt it had a slow start, but the second half of the book was great, and I was ready for the second book by the end. Yeah, yeah. It was interesting for me. It picked up pretty much right away from the beginning for me. I absolutely loved it. I felt right at home with it. I also felt cold, Ashley, reading the book.
I just had to put a blanket on my lap, like just talking
about it. And
Sorry.
that's the thing, right? It's a very cozy blanket fireplace read. And I grew up in snow, unfortunately, so I'm like, I mean, not nearly that bad. You know, I don't think it was nearly that bad, but I don't like the cold. I like to visit the cold and visit the snow, but I like to come home to the warmth. That's why I live in Phoenix. I can go to Flagstaff, get some snow and cold, and then come back home and I'm fine. But yeah, it is a perfect time of year to read. Absolutely, Brandy. So favorite characters. Did you have a favorite character?
I love Dunya.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dunya is such a sweetheart. Yeah, I was so sad when she died and the way she died. Oh my goodness. I had a tissue box for that one. That was yeah. Yeah. And if you're coming late to the story, this is spoilers, just so you're aware. Dunya dies.
Or well, you know.
And before that, she turns into a something.
Demon. Yeah. The Upir got her, right? So which is kind of like a vampire.
Okay.
From because I had to look up some of the names of the different spirits, and I guess the Upir is like a predecessor to a modern vampire.
Okay.
And so I guess she became undead, and then at the end, I guess she
this
got
one has
her
a glossary at the back. It says vampire next to Upir.
Yeah. I since I read it on Kindle, I had the advantage of just tapping on the word and it brings up like a Wikipedia or whatever, and it tells you what an Upir is, and that was kind of cool. So expedition through pages. I remember loving the atmosphere too, but I read a while ago and the details are hazy, so looking forward to your discussion. Oh, cool. Yeah, bring on the spoilers. Okay, well, we have authorization from Kim.
Yes. Right. We're good. I have to say my favorite character, it would have to be, and this is probably such a generic answer, but it was definitely Vasya, because she's very much the not your typical girl / you know what, like, I know that's
like the ugly duckling.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that just seeing her and like getting a little bit of a backstory, like where she comes from and like what family she comes from, it was just so interesting to dive into that. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And even at the beginning, before she was born, like her mother just knew right away that she was special. And she had that gut feeling that something about this last child is going to be the end of me and the beginning of something else, the beginning of her legacy. It's kind of felt about that. I was sad when her mom died too. It was kind of a beautiful in a way from life, giving life to Vasya and to her.
She sacrificed herself.
Yeah. and she got she bore a very wild spirit, and that's a
did.
good thing. Yeah, yeah. So you're right. Vossi is fantastic. I really enjoyed Morosco as well. He
Mhm.
Oh wow, what a fascinating
Fascinating.
character.
That's a good word.
That's a
Y-
No, it
r-
is. I'm so
it
intrigued by
is.
him, and like I want to know. He's
yeah,
like very mysterious. You know, I want to
he
know.
is.
I want to know his story.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a very strong vibe. You seen Law? Did I cut out? Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little
Oh,
bit.
have either of you seen Lost?
I
I've
don't think I have.
the TV series.
Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. It's been a
Okay.
while though.
Okay. How about you, Danielle?
I don't think I've seen it.
The reason I brought it up is because Morosco and Medved gave me very strong Man in Black and Jacob vibes, because they're the Man in Black and Jacob are two of the two bigger characters in the Lost series, and they gave me total Jacob and Man in Black vibes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Especially Medved, he gave me serious Man in Black vibes. Not to be
Brandy's seen
confused with
it.
the Man in Black and Dark Tower. But oh yeah, Brandy loves Lost. Yeah, it's a fantastic show. If you have not read it or watched it, I highly recommend it. Yeah, seriously good television. It had a couple seasons where it had some bumps, but overall it was a good series. Um, but that's not what we're here to talk about. um, yeah,
Oh,
okay. Brandy can see the Jacob Man in Black vibes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so they're definitely equals and yet opposites. And equal in power it seems,
Hmm.
but obviously very very opposite, especially in terms of their motivations.
well, and
Almost kind
speaking
of.
of, sorry, go ahead, Ashley.
No, no, no. You first. You first.
Well, I was just gonna say, speaking of their powers, so the bear, Medved, like
Hmm.
his power seemed to grow in strength whenever the household spirits were not being honored
Yes.
like they
Yep.
should have been. And then
Hmm.
likewise, I guess he's weakened whenever they are being honored. But like Morosco, or yeah, that's the name I'm
Hmm.
looking for. Anyway, it seemed like he just always had his power. So
Hmm.
I don't know. We were talking about them being of equal power, and the one just seems so much more dependent on the household spirits being weakened to come into his
Hmm.
power.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it's true.
remember whenever. So there is a part that Roscoe mentions that I'm not as strong as I am, because my brother. Because I was thinking it's almost kind of like a yin and yang. You've got
Okay.
the bear who represents chaos, and of course
Mhm.
the house spirits are sitting there and keeping the chaos at bay and taking care of their people. But as soon as this priest comes in and starts weakening, their beliefs, and then you see Morosco just like really struggle, and I think that was the whole reason why he gave the pendant to Vasia's father, because he wanted to make sure that she would be protected, because it's almost like he knew that she was a big player in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she had a lot of control over which direction that struggle between Morosco and Medved went, and the more they tried to pin her down, uh, and get rid of the household spirits, yeah, she was definitely influential. It seems like.
Hmm.
I was thinking about the belief system and like the old beliefs versus like the new Christian belief that was being brought in, and like
Hmm.
how, yeah, Constantine, played a role in that, but also I think just time and just how
Hmm.
any traditions are like kind of fade and like can be diluted over time, you know?
Yeah. Almost like they're forgotten, or they become so traditional that the point gets lost, or
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely a pretty interesting struggle between the two of them. And what I found quite interesting is, typically in a lot of classical fantasy stories, you see death being more of the antagonist. But in this story, Morosco
That's
is
a good
death.
point. Yeah.
I really liked that change to the classic trope. Making death the guy that you want to find you, the guy that you want to be the last person you see.
Kind of like peace.
Yeah, kind of like peace. And he just barely missed Dunya by a fraction before Medved stole her away from him.
That broke my heart.
Oh, that was brutal. Yeah, that was really brutal.
Right. Yeah, she left her life in fear versus peace.
Yeah. I'm glad she finally found her peace at the end, though, it seemed like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I felt bad that Piotr had to die as well. That was
when I was prepping for our discussion, I read, it was like kind of a question answer kind of thing, and they pointed out that this book was kind of bookended in sacrifice, like the mama at the beginning and the dad at the end. I was like, oh geez. I like you realize it but not consciously. So I was just like, man, that's good.
Yeah,
and
that was
I noticed, I went back and read, I was curious because I kind of had forgotten the story that Dunya told at the very beginning where they introduced Frost. And when I went back and read that today, I was like, it sounds like she's telling Vassia's story, because like it talked about the evil stepmother and like her wanting the daughter that she was jealous of to go off and get married, so she was out of the way. And I was just like, oh my god, because you read that at the beginning and you have no idea what's coming, so it was kind of cool to go back, and it was like a foretelling.
Yeah,
I was about to ask
it definitely seemed
that.
prophetic. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Such good stuff.
It is. Yeah, it's really cool the way it was woven. And did you guys have a favorite of the household spirits?
I thought about it, and I think I'm kind of tied between this, and I don't know their proper names, but the stable spirit and the house spirit.
A domovoy, I think, is the house spirit.
Yeah, the domovoy is the house spirit. I can't remember the stable spirit either, but the stable spirit was so much fun. I thought that was great. Especially, I loved how the stable spirit taught her how to talk to horses. I was like, well, that's cool. I love to talk to horses.
And the relationship between, the horses and Vasya was just really fun to kind of see develop, because, in the beginning, it was, I think it was Sasha who, it was like, the one that was really into the horses, and he was the caretakers, and it was just, he was a natural at it. And then you kind of see Vasya going through the same thing. I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah. And when she rode and saved her little cousin? The young boy, and she rode and she showed up all those men, and that was like one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
That was when she was still going to marry the creepy guy.
Oh gosh, that guy.
I despised him.
I think I mentioned in our Discord chat that that there was a point that it got to where I was seriously worried he was going to rape Vasya.
It was very
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
I'm like,
yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah.
I thought that was going to happen. I was preparing myself, and when it didn't, I just had like this release. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing about Catherine Arden, she writes creepy men really well.
It's true.
Yeah. And there are a lot of creepy men out there. So I mean, you know, it happens, but yeah, she had a couple of doozies in this book.
Mm-hmm.
The priest.
The priest.
Yeah.
Her betrothed, and then trying to remember. Maybe there wasn't totally another one, but one of the priests that Sasha went to eventually join gave me a really creepy vibe too.
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really interesting seeing all the differences in the direction each of the kids went to. Like Vasya obviously was tied to the ancient ways and the ancient faith, and then of course Sasha went off to become a monk, and then her other brother got married, and it's all good.
Kolya got settled down, and then Alyosha, he was like younger, so I don't know if he had really decided what he was doing yet, but
I saw there was a really like strong connection between him and Vasya, though. Like they really seemed, especially I thought it was fascinating that Vasya would try and steal his clothes and then like kind of pretend like, you know, that way she could go out and do whatever she wanted. But
yeah, in that author interview, Catherine Arden had said that she based Vasya's relationship with Sasha and Vasya's relationship with Alyosha on her own relationship with her brother or brothers. So she had some kind of firsthand experience to make that, you know, feel real.
Interesting.
That's so fun.
Wow. Yeah, I had no idea.
I knew it was going to be a good book. It took me forever, and I just needed that push. I needed y'all to be like, okay, actually, let's read this. So
we're doing it. Yeah.
So good. Because like, I mean, I think it was published in 2019. It was recently, I thought.
Yeah, seems like it.
I remember watching somebody on BookTube, and they were talking about it. I was like, that sounds really good. And then I bought it, and it just sat on my shelf. I'm like,
yeah, 2017.
2017. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think the final book came out in 2019 or 2020, one of the two.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's what it was, but yeah, it's been on my Kindle shelf forever, and I've always said, oh, I'm going to read that one day, and I never did. So I'm glad I finally got the chance. And it was Ariel. I don't know if you guys watch Reading and Whatnot. Ariel at Reading and Whatnot. It's one of her favorite books, and she kind of finally gave me the push to say, okay, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it read.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened that there was a buddy read opportunity, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, this has got to be one of my new all-time favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. It made my top list for 2021. Most definitely. Yeah. It's such a great book. I think my favorite for the household spirits was kind of a tie between the stable spirit and the Leshy, the forest spirit, even though we didn't really get to see the Leshy a whole lot. And I was familiar with Leshies because Leshies are in the Witcher series as well. But Leshies are much more monstrous in the Witcher series, of course. But
is that the one that
Didn't she have
Vasya
green skin?
yeah,
Yes.
and Vasya was like, "You can't be killing people. Like, you're gonna have to figure out something else."
Right.
Yeah, that was yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
"She's right."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Leshy had entranced the priest and was like
Oh yeah.
probably going to drown him. It was almost like in this book, the Leshy almost reminded me of more like a mermaid of sorts.
Like a siren or something?
Like a siren. Yeah, thank
that's
you.
good.
Yeah, and I thought, oh yes, we're finally gonna be rid of this priest, and then Vasya
And then it
saved
didn't
him.
happen.
Which, right? I'm like, well, Vasya, I'm glad you saved him, but I really wanted to die.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about Peter when his wife first told him about how she was going to be continuing to give birth to Vasya and that she probably wasn't going to make it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, because I remember that like from the beginning, it was kind of like this thing like Peter loves his children, but at the same time, you know, this last child is the one that ended his love of his life, and I was like,
yeah. And you kind of got that vibe from him throughout the whole story. It's like he loves Vasya, but at the same time, he's like he probably kind of blames Vasya for the loss of his wife.
And on the other hand, Vasya was that much more important to him because Marina had, you know, given her life so that she could live. And so, yeah, it was definitely, I'm sure he had some mixed feelings.
Yeah, most definitely. And then when he married Anna Petrovna, I was like, oh man, talk about a wicked stepmother. Oh my goodness.
She had so much potential, but
Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely see, because I believe Marina was the was Anya's great aunt, or maybe just aunt, something like that. There was something.
Yeah. She was. I think wasn't she the sister of Marina?
I don't know, because I remember was it the prime minister or somebody? No, I'm gonna have to look. But the prime minister, he was like, I you know, I have this daughter I can't really marry off because she's crazy. And then he's like, here, you know, I think it was his sister that was married to. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because that was the prime minister's, or whoever it was, the emperor or whatever it was.
Yeah,
that was his daughter.
She was the daughter of Ivan II.
Yeah.
And Marina was, are you saying Anna was the daughter of Ivan II? And then how was Marina related to Anna?
That was Marina's aunt, if I'm correct.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, Marina was her aunt. That's what I meant to say. So that was Marina's niece that came and remarried.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't totally clear on that throughout the book. I'm like, okay, yeah, how are they related? But I guess I decided it didn't make a huge difference. But yeah.
The reason why it really stood out to me was because it's like you have these two, you know, it's the whole nature nurture thing. It's like you have these two people that are very similar. They came from this very similar, well, I mean, they're, you know, from the similar families. They're from the same family. But, you know, it's like Ivan's daughter wasn't in the right environment to be able to really do and really thrive what she needed. And she always thought that she was like just this possessed, you know, person, tormented.
That's a good point, because if Marina had some of the magic, that was in her like female part of her bloodline, we know her grandmother had it. So there were probably like women in her life that were telling her, hey, you're not crazy. This is like a special thing that we have. Where like Anna, she's just like saying things and, you know, doesn't really know what to do with it.
Yeah. And she's so steeped in her religious belief that she believes she's been cursed, Whereas Vasya is the complete opposite. She's like, this is my destiny. This is who I am. They're part of me. They're part of my life, and so obviously they're going to clash on that. Yeah. Yeah, that was really fascinating, though, that she could see the spirits as well. Yeah.
And then that moment where she realizes that Vasya can see them too, and she's like, wait a second, this isn't good. Like, I just thought that was so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the perspectives were so different. Like, just so different. And I thought of like maybe kind of an irony earlier, but I can't really formulate it right now. But it's something to do with the fact that, Constantine told them all that they were being punished for their sinfulness or whatever, for maybe honoring these, like false gods or whatever. And that's why they were experiencing, all these hardships. But really it was like the opposite of that. It was because they were letting go of those, they were neglecting those traditions. And yeah, I was just like, man, that was so twisted.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. What did you think of the what did you think of Morosco's pocket dimension with the cottage and the
I thought that was so cool.
It was super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. And I'm all about the horses.
The Nightingale was the horse that Vasya.
I forgot about that. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
Because I was like, wait a second, because they started singing. And I thought that was interesting to see. And I really just want to go back and look at like the Russian history of like all of this, so that way, because I feel like if I knew more of that, then it just kind of
it's made me curious too.
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah.
We need to have some like supplemental reading between now and our
MV2. Yeah, and I guess that's probably not a bad thing. I've always been fascinated with like ancient world history and mythology. To be honest, American history has always kind of bored me, so I just kind of stay away. But other cultures, the history of other cultures just fascinates me. So yeah, I'd be excited to learn a little bit more about Russian folklore, and so yeah, it's kind of cool how reading these books gives you that impetus to do. Okay, I'm gonna go read about this more.
I was always just really fascinated with like, did you guys ever see the Disney version of Anastasia?
Yes.
I loved that movie, and like when I started reading this book, I was just right back there. I was just like, yep, all of this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Anastasia was really good, and yeah, just to see how all that, and I think what's the crazy priest that always comes up in Russian history? His name's right on the tip of my tongue.
Rasputin.
Rasputin. Thank you. Yeah.
I don't know where I just came up with that, but hey, we'll take it.
And I may be remembering wrong or mixing some things, but I think did he get mentioned briefly in this book, or am I totally off?
I don't recall. It could definitely be possible.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I always recall Rasputin being kind of this hybrid of the Russian Orthodox Church and the old magic, kind of this hybrid. He kind of strides the fence on both sides, but yeah, so I was probably just off in another world thinking about that and incorporating it into this book, so never mind me.
Yeah, I couldn't really sort out like I don't know if you would say like political stuff that was going on in here, and like there was talk of like maybe throwing over, whatever ruler is in place. And I don't know, were they talking about, anyway, I couldn't follow that storyline very well. And I don't know if it's because I just don't know the history, or what. But
I think there was a point where they were trying to overthrow the Turks, or there's definitely something in there about the Middle Eastern infiltrators that are trying to take over and bring their belief system. Oh, the Khans.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was the Khans that they were they kind of were allowed to rule by themselves. The Kingdom of Russia was kind of allowed to have authority, but they still had to give gifts and homage to the Khans. And so so there was a point there where they talked about starting a revolt and revolting against the foreigners and the foreign gods of the Khans. Yeah, so I'm guessing Genghis Khan. I'm not really familiar with all of that, so you'll have to forgive me.
Yeah,
But
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, but it was interesting. Yeah, and there was definitely, I think there was where they got into the blending of nationalism and religious aspect, because I think we're talking about, if we can just justify ourselves as a nation and these old gods, we will finally have enough strength and power to overthrow our usurpers. That's the vibe I got anyway. What do you think?
I missed part of it. You were cutting out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying that it seems like they were kind of blending the religious aspect and the nationalist aspect, so that if they could get their religion under control and just be a Christian nation, then they would have enough power to overthrow the foreign usurpers.
Yeah, maybe.
That was the impression I got.
Well, I remember at one point in the book where, because when Sasha goes off to, I guess, join the church, that seemed like there was kind of like a thing where it's like the priest that came in with him wanted him in there because he wanted to solidify a position in the church, because I just had this feeling that there was something going on between like the Grand Prince and the church, and like them clashing. But I can't remember exactly. It's a little foggy, but I remember something about that, because I was like, why are you sending him all the way to Moscow like this?
Well, and Sasha was supposed to protect Dmitri too, right? Who was like the next in line for the throne.
Yeah.
Right.
Something.
Yeah.
Not to switch gears, but I had a thought.
Ahead.
Is there a potential romance between Vasya and Morozko?
Get out of my head.
I wondered that too. Yeah. So yeah, you're in my head as well, apparently. I definitely got that impression, because in especially with Dunya's story at the beginning, she talks about how the Frost King or the Winter King comes and takes the maiden for his wife, and at least if I remember that's correct. So I thought if Vasya's story is a mirror of that initial folk tale, then that would make sense that she and Morozko would eventually get together. And I think that would be kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't shipping them already. So
yeah. Yeah. So good call, Danielle. I think you're
Mm-hmm.
right on there. Yeah.
I'm just not, I'm trying to figure out, and maybe I shouldn't and just enjoy the ride, but I'm trying to figure out exactly, exactly what Vasya's like mission is now, because she
Hmm.
obviously holds all this power. She's obviously the key to something. She's got magic flowing in her veins, and
Hmm.
um yeah, so the bear is back asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we have to worry about him again. I don't know.
She was
Could
definitely
be.
Morosco's champion. I always felt like, because I almost at one point I was like, maybe the bear and Morosco were like kind of trying to fight for like, whether she was going to pick chaos or peace.
Mm,
Also, I don't.
mm-hmm.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I think oh yeah, Kim thought there was going to be a romance as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can definitely see that. Um I my what I got as her mission was she's probably going to eventually come back and restore her people to the old ways. That's the impression I got. It doesn't really
That would
say
make
it
sense.
clearly, but
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think because she left at the end, more or less is what I understood, and then I think she's going to eventually come back.
That
Mm-hmm.
that was something else I wanted to talk about too, about her own people being so threatened by her and seeing
Hmm.
her as a witch, and like she can't even stay around there, for her own safety. And I'm just like,
Right.
what is going on?
Hmm.
I definitely
I don't know
think,
how they can be so far from where they're so far from where they were, apparently at one point.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry,
Yeah,
what
I
were you
agree.
saying, Ashton?
There's it really shows you the power of suggestion.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, I agree.
from the priest
Oh,
and everything like that. And on Anna as well. It really shows the power of suggestion and the power of a person uh,
Yeah.
who is very charming, very
mm,
um, what's the word I want? Charismatic, very seductive in that way
Mm-hmm.
that can really just grab a hold of the people and say, you know, what you've been doing is wrong, and they're just like, okay, they're like sheep, really. Yeah, they
Yeah.
just follow their leader, and yeah, that was really sad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Constantine is just so the opposite of what, you know, he's a bad priest. Like
Yes, yes.
he's so the opposite of what he
Conceited.
should be. Yeah, he was all
Yeah,
about making a name for himself, and he just wanted to get back to Moscow so that, he could do that. And,
yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah, you really know that he's not in touch with his faith when he can't tell the difference between the voice of God and the
Yeah.
voice uh, of a of a forest demon or of a
The
nature
bear.
demon. Yeah, the
Or
bear.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
definitely know he's out of touch.
So crazy.
Yeah,
I
that whole
hated
thing was
him.
really interesting. The way the bear just took control of him. I was fascinated by that.
Okay, remind me of that
Manipulation.
part.
Well, where Medved essentially started speaking as if he were the voice of God to
Right.
Constantine,
Yes.
and then yeah,
Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, that was just wow. That guy's really out of touch. Yeah.
Well, and I thought the whole reason why the monastery sent him so far away was to try and, I don't know if it was either to try and punish him for being so conceited or if it was to try and get him straightened out. But he really just turned out to be like the antagonist. Like he just did
Wasn't
not.
he like
Yeah.
competition for like Alexander, or I'm not saying the right name because I think that might have been Sasha's name that he took, but whoever the other big priest guy was, I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
he was
he
competition.
was, and also he would have been a significant threat to putting Dmitri on the throne too. I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
it is apparently he was a very vocal political spokesperson for not having Dmitri in as ruler or something like that. I think that's what it was. It was a combination of things.
He was like probably, I think what from what I gathered, he was the popular, like he persuaded, manipulated people more than I think the current person did. So that makes sense. But he just ruined everything. He just
yeah, he really did.
I have no words. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. There's no words for the type of person he is. Yeah. 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 Just I mean the way he oogled Vasya and that was just so creepy. One thing that I thought was really cool, and this sticks out to me as one of my favorite aspects of the story is the talisman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
I was thinking
amulet.
about that earlier. Yeah.
That was really cool. Not only as a way to signify that Vasya belongs to Morozko, but also as a way to protect her. And they kept that protection away from her for so long.
And so, as far as protecting her, did you take it as just a way to be able to summon Morozko? Okay.
I did, yeah. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I had the feeling that because she was supposed to have Morozko's token, that the bear wouldn't be able to, persuade, because in the ending there, it's like even like the siren type of demon, she's like, I'm not going to be able to make heads or tails whenever I'm called. I have to be called, like, and I'm not going to be the same person. Yeah. And so I always thought that the whole reason why he did that was to protect her from the bear's influence.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I think as far as fascinating characters for me, overall, Morozko is still the most fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And I just want to find out more about him. And I can't imagine that he won't show up in future books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he doesn't, we're all going to be really sad.
Yeah. I mean, Vasya's great. And, we love Vasya, but it's kind of like, well, yeah, Morozko's kind of special. He's kind of an integral part of her story.
Exactly. And I think she almost needs him to tell her who she is. Like,
yeah,
he knows who she is. He knows what she's capable of. He knows why she's important. Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a very powerful book. Very powerful.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely feels like she is eventually destined to be the protector of her people. She just has to realize that potential. Yeah. So somebody's looking for mom.
I was hoping y'all didn't hear that.
It's all good.
She's supposed to be in there with her dad.
We're parents, so it happens.
She's turned into a puppy dog, so.
Oh, okay, nice. How old is she?
She's 3.
Oh, cute. I remember that age. Mine are teenagers.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Got one that's almost an adult. My son's almost 18.
I feel like I have a teenager.
Is your son graduating this year?
He is. Yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's it is. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi there.
Can you say hi?
She's cute.
Thank you.
No. Well, did you ladies have any other things that you wanted to touch on, or any other questions that you had regarding some of the stuff we read in the book, or anything that we didn't talk about that we really need to talk about?
I felt for the most part we covered some really good points, and just talking about it with you guys made me kind of remember and recall some things that I feel like I kind of forgotten since I've finished reading it. So now that I'm like, I feel like I need to go back through and reread it before I move on to the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least skim it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my friend Ariel that I talked about later, that I talked about earlier, she said you need to read them back to back. I'm like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but
yeah,
the audiobook is really good.
Yeah.
Which
okay.
I'm planning to read the next one in February.
Okay.
The Girl in the Tower. So I know Kim's planning to read it with me, and if it works out for you guys to read it, Brandy. Oh, she just asked that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I definitely want to read the second book. I'll have to see if I can squeeze it in. I constructed my TBR so that I have room for electives, so I just might have to make that one an elective in February. So
Okay.
Yep.
I'll let you know for sure, but I'd love to. Yeah, I want to read the next book. So
Yeah, I think Yolene.
she's on board.
I think Yolene and Evie from All About Evie, I think they're reading the second book too this upcoming month. So I'd be interested in kind of see what they thought.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think Evie did a live stream already for the first book, didn't she? Or maybe I'm wrong. I thought they did a live stream for Bear and the Nightingale.
Did. Yeah, I think it was a couple of days ago because I just saw Yolene post it in her Discord. Yeah, because I was like, I can't look at it until we have ours, and then after I can look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm curious now. I might have to go watch it.
Yeah, I might have to too. Depends on how long it is, but between my reading and work and to catch up on my watch later list, it's maddening, but what will happen?
It's just juggling.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about that balance.
Yes. Yep, it really is. And we're getting a lot of spam today.
I know. What's up with that?
What was y'all's rating? If y'all give ratings, what was your rating for The Bear and the Nightingale?
Yeah. I've kind of moved away from doing ratings, but if I was to rate it, it would totally be a 5-star read. Oh yeah.
What'd you give it, Ashley?
I gave it a 4 stars, which I don't know why, because it's definitely, but 4 and 5 is like kind of like I absolutely loved it. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely have to say like at least 4.5. I try to kind of base it off of like how much does it stick in my mind. If it really sticks in my mind and I'm obsessed over it, it's definitely a 5-star.
Yeah, that's kind of the way my 5 stars are too. And I just other than Goodreads, I've kind of moved away from star ratings because I don't feel like it totally does it justice. At least for me, it doesn't work too well. For other people, it works fine. So a lot of people have elaborate rating systems. Like, I'm too much of a type B person for that. I just I'm too wishy-washy sometimes. But yeah, it would definitely be a 5-star for me for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I just knew like early on reading it, like just the way it was making me feel. I was just like, oh, this is the winner.
Yeah. Yeah, Brandy gave it 3 stars. Okay. All right, cool.
Okay, so for those of you who gave it less than 5, I'm curious to know how you would have made it better or how it would have appealed to you more.
I would be very curious about that too. Maybe I'm just too easy. I don't know. I'm giving it a 5-star, but yeah, I'd definitely like to know.
I just kind of had this idea in my head of what it was going to be like, because there's some times where like if I think this is going to be really heavy romance in this book and I expect that, then I'll base my stars lower. But for some reason I didn't really get that. Like I just had it in my mind, okay, this is going to be kind of like more of a Russian folklore and learning a little bit about that. And I looked it up, and so there was an Ivan the Terrible that was a grand prince. So now I'm like, okay, did she base some of the stuff off of like real life events?
I wondered about that. Yeah,
I'm gonna
because
have to give
It
it a
said she
5.
took some kind of like college in that. Well, I don't have that screen open anymore, of course, but yeah, she took some kind of Russian something in college.
yeah, I did
See if
know
I can
that
find
about
it.
her. Mm-hmm.
And I think she studied abroad in France. I think that's what I was listening to, or what I was reading in the back of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. She did do quite a bit of studying in a few different countries. Yeah. So Brandy says 3 stars for me means she liked it. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's like an average, and then like 4 and 5 is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I can see that. I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. I'll have to go back and look. I may have. Goodreads is weird. It's the best site overall, I think, for it out there, but it's still kind of weird. I don't know. But.
Yeah, my ratings, like I usually do the stars, and I usually know pretty early on when I'm reading, like about where I'm at. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like either, love it, like it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
didn't like it, it was awful. Those are my
Yeah.
I just keep it really simple.
Like 1 stars are like I rage read it.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a few comments here. Okay, Brandy's got her rating system here. Okay.
Didn't
Yeah,
like,
that's
it was
good. I
okay.
like that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and then 3 stars was
3
just
was
the average then, yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
liked it. Yeah.
That's her personal
3 is
rating
I liked it.
system.
4 is I really liked it.
And then okay, Kim can't remember why she gave it 4 stars. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. No worries.
Well, and sometimes I have found with series, and I don't know if you found this to be true as well, but like I'll rate the first book lower, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll read the second or third book, whatever the subsequent books, because I've had time to get attached to those characters. Because I, like Chaz, and I don't know about you, Ashley, but am such a character reader.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
I'm a huge character
And once
reader.
I get attached, they get all the stars. Love you.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, that's been the way with me for some series as well. And that's one of the reasons that for some series I tend to wait and just do an overall series review. Like I'll usually do a book review of the first book, just like casual talk, and then I'll wait till the series is finished to review the whole thing. I did that with the Broken Earth trilogy. Because by the end of the trilogy, I was just like, I mean, that was, oh wow, I love that.
I still need to read that.
I've only read the first book, and I'm kicking myself because I'm so ready to read the next one in the series, but I'm terrified because it was just such a big impact on the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know about
and the second book is really good, but you pretty much have to read books 2 and 3. I mean, you don't have to read them back to back, but looking back, I kind of wish I'd read them back to back because when you get to the end of book 3, everything makes sense. And yeah.
Bye, Kim.
Yeah. Bye, Kim. Nice having you. Yeah, this has been fun. Well, we are almost in an hour. So did you have any other thoughts?
I'm ready for book 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think I'll definitely have to squeeze it in. Oh, she's got it. Yeah. I just
so ready.
I recently purchased the ebook. I got it right away. So eventually I'll probably buy the series in physical, but we'll see. But I did get the ebook. So I do have it. So I could read it if I end up joining you. And I think I probably will. So I'll just have to make room for it on my
It's
TBR.
just so pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah, the covers are really attractive, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
You want to see this one? Wait,
oh yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite of the series right there.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yes. That's my favorite cover of the series.
That's so pretty.
Yeah, that's just
That's
stellar.
awesome. I better not look at this. What if it gives something away? Don't look at it.
Yeah, don't look at it. Hide it.
The Phoenix. I think the Phoenix was briefly mentioned in this story too. Something
Oh gosh,
about
I
it.
don't remember that.
See, I just need to go back because I feel like I was into it, but there was so much to consume. It's like I couldn't get all of it in one go.
There was a lot in this book that was
I mean, it's not even that. It doesn't look
just
like
over
a big,
300 pages, maybe.
Yeah, it's insane.
And I'm glad it was shorter. I like shorter books for a first book in this series. I don't know how long the others are, but it's nice to have a shorter book to start off anyway.
Yeah.
It looks like it's, I mean, that's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the 300s again for the second book. So.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been wonderful having both of you. Thanks so much for letting me join in on the buddy read. And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Fun.
Everybody that's watching, make sure that you subscribe to Ashley and to Danielle. Their channels are amazing. And I hope you'll tune into their channel and stay tuned in for mine as well. Check back for more stuff. And remember to keep reading more books.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Bye.